the Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa, that state-owned funder of big and small businesses, has recorded a historic increase in funding support to key sectors of the economy for the financial year that ended in March. The SOE released its financial results today, which show that its funding methods continue to generate new jobs and keep the jobs that are there safe. Group profit rose significantly by 70% to 10.7 billion rand compared to 6.3 billion rand last year, with company profit up 119% to 5.9 billion rand compared to almost half of that in the year before. For more on this, we're joined by the IDC CEO Nchocho. Babu Nchocho, thank you very much for your time. And before we get into the results, can we confirm that indeed you are leaving the IDC soon, and ask what's the reason behind this move?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Kolani. Yes, the announcement, remember, was made earlier in March that when my term of office comes to an end in December, I have decided that I would move on to go and do other things. So that still remains, yes. This was my last set of results that I presented today. So look, I'm not going to disappear. I'm not going to an international assignment or anything like that. I am not going to be lost to the South African nation. I will continue to work in the area of investment management and economic development in one form or the other, mainly from a private sector angle, but I'm not able to speak the specifics now, Kolani, because I'm still tying up some loose ends in that regard.
No, it's been a pleasure working with you indeed. You must be proud then of the latest financial results, over 20 billion rand approved in funding and more dispersed while creating and maintaining jobs. What have been the highlights for you in that particular hot seat?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it's very pleasing, and my heart is very much full of joy. If we were to take a step back, I said to my colleagues the other day that, you know, I joined the organization in January of 2019. We laid out our plans, and we were rudely interrupted by COVID in 2020 and into 2021. So we survived 2020. I call it the year of survival. 2021 was a year basically of revival, recovery. And it was really in 2022, the beginning, and now into 2023, that we pressed hard on the accelerator pedal, so to speak. And that's why we have seen this particular uptick in the performance of the organization post-COVID. So basically, one, a lot of effective origination, covering markets and finding new deal opportunities. Two, we have sharpened our pencils with regards to the efficiency of our transaction execution. So we work better, we work faster, we work smarter. We have to continue to improve in that regard. Three, you have to be smart in this environment and look for chunky deals, large transactions, if you are to pursue the kind of massive targets that we have by way of aspirations of facilitating money flows into the economy. So, for instance, the largest quantum of funding for this past financial year was the 3.5 billion rand that we advanced to one of the mining majors, Northern Platinum, for their substantial expansion program, where they are building, new shafts, expanding capacities, and so on. So yeah, it's a combination of, driving hard and a bit of luck in some circumstances.
This particular year's increase in funding represents a 29% jump in approved funding compared to the previous corresponding period, and disbursements for the year also surging 147% to 17.8 billion rand, and that is more than double from the previous year. But you will still find that many people out there will say they have not been funded. They will will point a finger to the IDC for refusing their funding projects to their projects and businesses. What do you say to them? That's the common, what's the common mistake really that those who are applying are actually making?
Yeah, let's put it this way, and we need to be honest and say the IDC will not be able to assist everybody. It's not possible. So we work within a particular mandate of industrial development, infrastructure funding, energy finance, and a measure of agro processing and so on. And the basic criteria really is that the viability case of the business has to stack up. So we have a team of professionals who evaluate the proposals that are received from clients in terms of, is there a market that is sustainable for this particular proposition? Do the promoters of the project have the means in terms of technical operations, production management? Do they have the means in terms of human skills to be able to execute the project? And of course, the capital structure of a project has to make sense in a sense of debt to equity type structure, so that a business is not over borrowed such that it runs itself into over indebtedness complications and so on. So yeah, as I say, I'm being honest with you, it is not possible to cater for the needs of everyone. But we do try our best and do that we can. So to your question about the common errors, yeah, look, the common errors is that, one, we often find that promoters of projects have not performed robust enough studies with regards to the potential of the kind of market segments that they want to go into. And secondly, which is a big challenge, and particularly for transformation type initiatives, is that very often the cash flows of a business can only carry debt capacity to a particular point, and there is often a requirement for equity on the part of sponsors. And so it becomes difficult to bank transactions when a capital structure cannot be configured on a viable basis like that. But we try, we push the envelope. The IDC is known to be a risk financier. So we can sit side by side with the promoters of project and provide shareholder loans in return for the upside in a project, or provide preference share type instruments in a way of enhancing the fundability of a project. Thanks.
Let's talk about a settlement that you have made. You've signed a 366 million rand settlement with the Gupta family to recover some of the money from the loan that you as the IDC gave in 2010 to the Guptas to buy Shiva uranium. What's the status quo on that? Because it seems there are third parties involved. Are the Guptas the ones who are actually paying the IDC the 366 million rands? And it would seem, as you've said yourself, as a risk financier, you take risks, and this was one risk that you took, which got to where you are today.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And yes, I'm able to provide an update on that. First of all, it has been a long time coming. And we were very resolute in our efforts as an organization to say those who owe the IDC money that we have advanced on a goodwill basis need to honor their obligations all the way through to the latter. Okay, so this is the one instance where, with the support of the board of the IDC, we went out of our way to exercise full recourse. So, long story short, through the lawyers, the parties on both sides have since agreed a dispensation to settle in full. The IDC is not losing a cent on this investment. We are recovering what is due to us in full. So the parties have agreed, And indeed, the IDC asked questions to say, where does the money come from? We live in a country where we have to comply with laws relating to financial flows and integrity with regards to the Financial Intelligence Center Act. And so we asked that question to say we would like to know how this transaction will be funded. And so the lawyers representing the other side, to cut a long story short, made representations. They became transparent as to who the acquirer, the buyer is from the other side. And once that agreement was reached, the parties approached a court, and that agreement was made an order of court which is binding on both parties. And yes, within 30 days of the agreement coming into effect, those who owe the IDC in this respect have committed to then settle us in full and have provided us a liquid guarantee to that effect. So we are very pleased that this outcome has been achieved on behalf of the people of the Republic of South Africa, because the IDC belongs to the state.
Tshokolo Nchocho is the CEO at the Industrial Development Corporation. Thank you very much for your time, sir, tonight, and good luck to you for your future endeavors.